Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Chapter 7, Charlie's Birthday. Happy birthday, cried all four old grandparents as Charlie came into the room early the next morning. Charlie smiled nervously and sat down on the edge of the bed. He was holding his only present, very carefully in two hands. Wonka's Whipple Scriptures Fudge Mallow Delight, it said on the wrapper. The four old people, two of either end of the bed, popped themselves up on their pillows and stared with anxious eyes at the candy bar in Charlie's hands. Mr. and Mrs. Bucket came in and stood at the foot of the bed watching Charlie. The room became silent. Everyone was waiting now for Charlie to start opening his present. Charlie looked down at the candy bar. He ran his fingers slowly back and forth along the edge of it, stroking it lovingly, and the shiny paper wrapper made little sharp crackling noises in his quiet room. Then Mrs. Bucket said gently, "You mustn't be too disappointed, darling, if you don't find what you're looking for underneath that wrapper. You really can't expect to be as lucky as all that." "She's quite right," said Mr. Bucket. Charlie didn't say anything. "After all," said Grandma Josephine, "in the whole world there are only 3 tickets left to be found. The thing to remember," Grandma Georgina said, "is that whatever happens, you still have a bar of candy." "Wonka's Whipply Scrumptious Fudge-a-Melon Delight," cried Grandpa George. "It's the best of them all. You'll just love it." "Yes," Charlie whispered, "I know." "Just forget all that about the golden ticket and enjoy the candy," said Grandpa Joe. "Why don't you do that?" They all knew it was ridiculous to expect that one poor little candy bar to have a magic ticket inside it, and they were trying to be gentle and kindly as they could to prepare Charlie for the disappointment. But there was one other thing that the grown-ups also knew, and it was that however small the chance be of striking it lucky, the chance was still there. The chance had to be there. This particular candy bar had as much chance as any other of having a golden ticket. And that was why all the grandparents and parents in the room were actually just as tense and excited as Charlie was, although they were pretending to be very calm. "You better go ahead and open it up, or you'll be late for school," Grandpa Joe said. "You might as well get it over with," said Grandpa George. "Open it, dear," said Grandma Georgina, "and please open it. You're making me jumpy." Very slowly, Charlie's fingers began to tear open one small corner of the wrapping paper. The old people in the bed all leaned forward, craning their scraggly necks, and then suddenly, as though he could bear the expense any longer, Charlie tore the wrapper right down the middle, and on his lap there fell a light brown, creamy-colored chocolate bar. There was no sign of a golden ticket anywhere. "Well, that's that," said Grandpa Joe brightly. "It's just what we expected." Charlie looked up. 4 kind old faces were watching him intently from the bed. He smiled at them, a small, sad smile, and then he shrugged his shoulders and picked up the candy bar and held it out to his mother and said, "Here, Mother, have a bit. We'll share it. I want everybody to taste it." "Certainly not," said his mother, and the others cried, No, we wouldn't dream of it. It's all yours, please," begged Charlie, turning around and offering it to Grandpa Joe. But neither he nor anyone else would take even a tiny bit. It's time to go to school, darling," said Mrs. Bucket said, putting her arm around Charlie's skinny shoulders. "Come on, or you'll be late." The end. Chapter 7.